Prime Minister 4 demands in his letter to the EU President Donald Tusk. How realistic are the big 4?
Well, the first 3 are pretty realistic. 2 of them are almost a done deal. The third, being ever closer union, may cause some raised eyebrows, some mutterings in Brussels. The fourth is the real sticking point, and that's curbing benefits to migrants, which the EU today called a form of discrimination. Yeah,
this is an European Commission spokesperson who already, less than a few hours after his speech to Chatham House, has spoken out against this 4th demand. How is Cameron going to get the EU on his side in attaining this 4th demand?
Well, we have a summit in December. Negotiations on this topic have been going on pretty much for the last 3 or 4 months. We saw him do a lightning tour of Europe that included Eastern Europe. The Chancellor has also gone around Europe to try and get more people on side. The big obstacles here are countries such as Poland, Hungary. Obviously, a lot of their citizens come to Britain and they're pretty angry that there is a move now to block their rights and to effectively discriminate against it, which is the way they see it. The problem for Cameron is, of course, he's got 2 audiences to please, not only the other members of the EU, but also people at home, and migration at the moment is a pretty hot topic.
It is very hot indeed. And speaking about at home, Svenja, tell me, how are these demands playing out locally among British citizens?
Well, most British citizens, in fairness, don't really see the EU as top of their concerns or list of priorities. You're more likely to see them express concerns about the economy. The audience here really are Conservative lawmakers who are Eurosceptics, who have been taking a pretty dim view of this set of proposals, especially this fairly symbolic idea of limiting ever closer union. They think Cameron has not gone far enough.
I mean, it's a tricky balancing act, isn't it? Because you have to be seen to be ambitious, but you can't set yourself up for failure. Which side is David Cameron leaning on, do you think, when it comes to this very tricky balancing act, Svenja?
I mean, look, David Cameron is not going to set out a list of demands that he doesn't think he can meet effectively. He spoke to German Chancellor Angela Merkel about this yesterday. She said herself that she's pretty confident that some kind of middle ground can be reached. What's also key in his speech is that when he mentioned this issue of migration, the big contentious issue here, he said he's open to other ideas. And in politics, of course, it's all about giving that little bit of leeway, which suggests that he is willing somehow to find a middle ground. The problem is he has to find a middle ground that will also please the British public and not look like he's caved in.
Svenja, what about the head of the EU and his response to these demands? I mean, have we heard anything so far?
Well, this 4th point has been called highly problematic by the Commission spokesperson. What we're really looking for now is a reaction across the board. As I said, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel has said that, yes, there are difficulties, but she thinks a middle ground can be reached on all points. As I said before, David Cameron has suggested that he's open to discussion. What's going to happen now is that the pace of negotiations is really going to accelerate.
What are the polls telling us right now?
The polls are pretty split, actually. What I found quite surprising in a poll a week or so ago is that it showed a 50-50 split. I think realistically the trend is more for people to vote for Britain to stay. However, we're looking at a referendum that'll be next year at best. We know it'll be before 2017. A lot can change between now and then.